Something just happened with the gold market, and it's likely going to affect the US dollar, and JP Morgan may have inadvertently just exposed the whole thing. And if what happened turns out to be true, it can actually collapse the US dollar system overnight. Why? Because two events that nobody was supposed to connect the dots on. JP Morgan's silent relocation of their gold desk overseas and the still unfinished Fort Knox audit that's supposed to happen. Now let me break this down for you fast. There are two different types of people who typically own gold. There's the paper gold people who purchase ETFs, they have futures, or they have a bank statement saying you own gold. It feels safer, you don't have to store anything, you don't have to have a safe, you don't put a target on your back, and that's what a lot of people like about it. Then there's the physical gold people. These are the ones who actually buy the real bullion and store them in their safes at home. It's heavy, it's inconvenient, and everyone seems to call these individuals paranoid. Now, for decades, the gold market has relied on one single assumption. Almost nobody would ask for the actual real metal to hold in their hands. So banks, because of this, sold mountains of gold, and honestly, way more gold than what actually exists. And as long as everybody stayed calm, the system worked just like it was designed to. But the X factor is that Asia absolutely blew up. You're talking China, India, Russia. Countries like these and others began to buy mass amounts of physical gold. You're talking thousands of tons, shipping them into their own vaults. No paper, no promises, just real, actual metal. And to add to that, central banks in the last 3 years have been purchasing more physical gold than they have since the 1960s. And meanwhile, the West, like America, continues to sell paper gold in astronomical amounts. But the problem is that there's nothing real behind it. And this is where the story actually takes a turn. Just Thursday, out of nowhere, without any announcement, going completely under the radar, a respected gold analyst said that JP Morgan's gold desk, which consists of about 50 elite traders, were moved by JP Morgan along with their families to Singapore. Now, why Singapore? Because that's where the world's physical gold moves now. New York sells paper, Singapore actually works and handles real, actual physical gold. And if that move ends up being real, this is what it means. The biggest gold manipulating bank on earth may have just switched sides from paper gold to physical gold. And they did it before the public could figure out what's actually coming. And this is where we get to Fort Knox. Because if you remember, February 2025, Trump comes out and promises complete and total transparency, says that we should be auditing Fort Knox as this vault supposedly holds 147 million ounces of gold. Last time that it was actually checked and verified was in 1953. But months have passed, bills have stalled, committees delayed, and nothing happened whatsoever. And here's the fear that's echoing through global financial circles right now. What if the gold in Fort Knox isn't there? What if it was leased out decades ago and it was never returned and nobody wants to admit the truth about it? Now, if that truth is actually revealed, the trust in the dollar globally is going to disappear overnight. Everyone's going to panic and go race into physical gold at the same time. And I want you to imagine that happening and all these stories breaking at the same time. JP Morgan flees from New York to Singapore, to the physical gold capital of the world. Fort Knox opens up, nothing adds up, or the gold isn't there altogether. Paper gold holders go into panic mode. Asia keeps buying up every bar they can find in sight, and there aren't enough bars for everybody. Gold rockets to 5,000, 8,000, or even higher. The dollar then absolutely takes a nosedive, and anyone holding real gold becomes extremely wealthy almost overnight. But the paper gold holders are left with IOUs and excuses. Now, the JP Morgan gold desk move is unconfirmed at this point, and obviously the Fort Knox audit hasn't happened. But the fact that these two topics are being brought up by trusted experts right now at the same time is why every person who's watching this video, including you, should be paying attention. Now, for years, those who got gold on paper thought they were the ones being smart, and the people stacking physical gold were the ones being looked at as paranoid. But it looks like the tables have turned. And if this story turns out to actually be true, we're about to learn who was right, and this could send everything into absolute chaos.